Astra Travelers, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Teyvat, a Genshin Lore Podcast. The last time we met, we froze our characters in Dragonspine, and were reminded of the spooky and ominous past of the Snowy Mountain. We're still trying to figure out what that third painting the princess made would have been, but we're gonna try and ignore it for now and hope it's not predicting anything crazy. This week, we're gonna be talking about Teyvat's best idol and favorite idol, and possibly only idol, Barbara Pegg. Additionally, I want to remind travelers to visit talesofthebot.com to see visual representations of the lore mentioned during today's podcast. Your guides have put them together for you to make things a little easier to understand. But with that being said, we're gonna talk a little bit about Babs. I think that's the most important thing to know off the bat is that we call her Babs.
Yeah.
I call her Babala because I watched a lot of Dish.
No one has a normal name in our vernacular.
No, nobody.
Everyone needs a nickname. I don't remember meeting Barbara for the first time.
Aww.
I do. Oh shit, I do. I was like,
who is this bitch? Who is this cute little baby girl? This is during the first Archon quest when we were trying to steal the Holy Harp.
Liar.
The lyre, yes.
I didn't mean to. It sounded like I was calling you a liar.
Why do you think I said liar, liar, Venti, liar, liar?
I didn't realize that was the first time we met her.
That was the first time I met her, but then again, I started playing in February, so
I like how you're like, I don't know about you guys, but I met her then.
it's like y'all had probably done a lot more shit. Either way, we go to her to get the Holy Lyre, the Verhimil. I can't remember anymore. It's been a very long time since the Dvalin arc. And she's like, no, you can't take it. It's broken. She's such a cute baby. And I was like, you could do better. You don't have to. Don't be a nun. Please. Please. Just be what you want to be.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Barbara, for travelers who maybe haven't done the Mondstadt storyline, I'm not judging you if you haven't finished the Mondstadt storyline. Obviously, you're very dedicated to the game if you're this far in to the podcast. But if you haven't done it, this is going to be a lot of spoilers. So please be warned. But if you guys remember doing the Dvalin Storm Terror Mondstadt storyline, Barbara is a deaconess in the Church of Favonius, which I often don't call the Church of Favonius. I always call it the Mondstadt Church by accident because I can't remember its name, which is dumb.
Yeah, I call it the cathedral all the time.
Ooh, the cathedral? Okay.
Is it bad that I call it the Church of Barbados?
I don't know what it's actually called, so no.
No, it technically is Church of Favonius.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Church of Barbados is okay. The Church of Jesus, right? It's the same thing.
Jesus.
The Church of Latter-day Saints, is that?
Oh, no.
No!
Oh, God. But that's who Barbara is right off the bat. And now that Al's refreshing my memory, the first time we meet her, we are trying to borrow the Holy Lyre. And she's like, borrow the Holy Lyre? Are you kidding me?
It's like asking, can I borrow the body of Christ? Just for shits and giggles, can I borrow this?
Also, you got to have permission from my dad, my absent father.
Oh, yes.
Well, that is her job now, though. She is the one who's in charge of all the artifacts, since her dad's not around and stuff like that. But
we'll get to that.
Well, let's talk about her dad then. We have Seamus Pegg, and there's a pretty deep family line going on here of issues. For those who don't know, Jean and Barbara are sisters of the same parents. They have the same mom and the same dad, but they were raised separately by only one parent.
Very Parent Trap-esque.
Very manga-esque.
The mom
weird.
took Jean and the dad took Babs, and the mom raised Jean a certain way and the dad raised Babs a certain way.
Is it confirmed that Seamus, which is the dad, and Frederica, who is the mom, did they break up because of their differences in wanting of how to raise their kids?
I don't think it specifically says. It just says that they split up, that they separated, but I don't think there was a reason for it.
Makes sense.
Not that I could find anyway.
I couldn't find a reason, but I've always kind of headcanoned that this is my headcanon, so please don't take anything for factual, but I always imagine that, Jean's mom, their mother, Frederica, right?
Frederica, I think. Well,
Yeah.
Freddie.
Their mom, Freddie, was very much about like the Gunhilder clan and keeping up the image of the Gunhilder clan and all of that stuff. You know, very almost like very aristocracy-esque things and the importance of being a namesake and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like when they realized at a young age that Jean was going to be the Dandelion Knight and Jean is the older sister, that Freddie was like, well, I need to train her for greatness and she can't have your last name. That's kind of been my assumption because we've really never seen anything about their mother, but their father we have met in the manga very briefly. We do meet Seamus Pegg in the manga, and I feel like we get a little bit more of his personality because of that. So that's kind of always been my thought, is that the mom was like, well, I can't let Jean become a deaconess. Take Barbara and do whatever you want.
Can we go way back to the beginning of the Gunhilders?
Yeah.
So 3,000 years ago.
Damn, you really meant go back.
Yeah. During Decarabian's war with Andreas, the Gunhilder patriarch or chief, he actually served under Decarabian, but he and his clan got sick of the tyranny of Decarabian, and so they decided to leave Old Mondstadt. But that means that they went out of Old Mondstadt into the insane blizzard that was constantly happening outside of that via Andreas. So if you forget, Andreas is that big wolf daddy that we fight all the time in Wolvendom, or at least that's his ghost, I guess. So at the time, Andreas was always fighting Decarabian, and Decarabian was a tyrant. So he had all these people under him, and the Gunhilder clan decided, you know what, we're not into this, we're leaving. But then when they left, they were out in this blizzard that was caused by Andreas. So they were basically freaking out, like, what are we going to do? We're going to freeze to death. We're in a blizzard, but we can't go back because Decarabian's crazy. So the chief's daughter started praying for help, and her prayers combined with everyone else's prayers in the clan attracted some wind spirit. And this wind spirit created a shelter for the clan and also bestowed upon the daughter the power to protect, whatever that means. And then when the chief died, his daughter took over and became the new leader of the Gunhilder clan. So she's like this matriarch priestess of the Gunhilder clan, and she leads the people. And then when Barbados finally challenges Decarabian, she actually leads her people to fight alongside Barbados / Venti. I would love to think that the wind spirit that originally protected that clan was Barbados.
Right.
But that is unclear. It could be him, but we're not sure. So that is sort of how the Gunhilders became these like protectors of Mondstadt. In fact, their motto is for Mondstadt as always. And that is sort of like a follow through all the way until current day, where Jean's mother is a very proud Gunhilder matriarch, and she wants her daughter to carry on that legacy.
And said, fuck my other child.
Yeah, basically.
Screw the second kid.
Well, so the only thing that I will say in defense of their mother in terms of how she treats Barbara is that she did send, I think, an outfit, the sunflower dress, to Barbara.
They do keep in contact, but like they don't see each other.
Dress.
She sent the little outfit. Like, is that a part of that was like the last years of summer stuff?
Like she made her outfit, or well, I don't know if she made it, but she sent Barbara her outfit. And I think the note was like, it's a sunflower dress because sunflowers, they always belong in the sun, and like you shine so brightly, or something like that.
What? Wait, what dress? That's the summer event dress?
I think that's her normal dress.
It's one of them.
That sounds like it's got to be her secondary outfit, because her first one's very choji.
Well, it says, I can't remember which voice line it is, but it is in her voice lines that you unlock. And she does mention, it was about her singing and her hobbies. Her mom specifically got the dress for her to be on stage, like so she can wear it when she's on stage to sing, which is kind of cute.
So you're telling me once the mom saw that her daughter had some sort of talent that wasn't churchy, she finally was like, I'll support this, take this dress and wear it on stage. I hate it.
Look.
Wow. Amanda it just broke that down.
I think that hit a little too hard for home.
She ain't wrong.
It seems like Barbara does have contact with her mom. I just don't think they have like physical contact. It goes in with like kind of how busy Barbara can be and maybe how busy her mom is. We don't know for sure. But can we talk about the dad real quick? Because that is an interesting character.
Seamus Pegg.
Yes, because he wasn't always a part of the Church of Favonius.
Ooh, do tell more.
He was an adventurer.
Oh, yes.
I don't think he was part of the Adventurers Guild, but he was a registered adventurer and basically fell in love with Miss Rika Freddy. And, you know, they got married. And shortly after that, he kind of found I found God in the wind. And became more associated with the Church of Favonius. And of course, he gained rank within the church, and then they divorced. But he's also so at first I was like, where is her dad? If he's part of the church, why don't we meet him? We do meet him in the manga, but why is he not in the game if he's like kind of like a high player character? Like he's a key player in the city of Mondstadt, and it turns out he was chosen to be on the expedition with Varka, which at first I'm like, why would a priest go? And it's like, makes sense. He was an adventurer. He's very knowledgeable in medicine and healing, which is what he taught to Barb.
I also want to say too, like, I'm not surprised that Seamus was an adventurer, because in the manga, when we do meet Seamus Pegg, it's in the like first chapter, right after the prelude. D-Luke is hosting this beautiful banquet, and we meet Dodoray or a version of Dodoray and some other Fatui lackey of his. And we have a meeting between Kaya, D-Luke, the Fatui lackey, Dodoray, and Seamus Pegg, where they all sit down to talk, basically, about what's going on. And the Fatui's trying to get the knights to allow the Fatui to recruit through them, and the recruit in Mondstadt. And that leads to like a big fighting scene where D-Luke pretends to be the dark, or I shouldn't say pretends, D-Luke becomes the Dark Knight and like chases them off and attacks them and whatever. Which I also find very interesting, because in that point of the manga, Master Varka has already left, but Seamus has stayed behind, and we don't know why, and we don't know what got him called out to join Varka either, because that's a big part of the manga, is that Master Varka has only recently deployed out. Jean has just taken over, but we all know Seamus is out with them. Like, that's very well known in the game.
Wait, so Varka had left before the events of the manga?
Yes, that's why they are so ill-equipped in the minds of the Fatui. They don't have half their people. That's why Kaya and Jean are the ones escorting the Fatui diplomats out. I mean, you have Jean, your acting Grand Master, escorting a carriage out. So that's kind of what my understanding has been. That's why Varka's not there. Jean is in charge during that time. I could be wrong, of course, but that also is only supposed to take place 6 months before the game starts, right? 6 months to a year before the game starts.
So then he must have left like right after that.
That's what I would imagine. I would think that maybe D-Luke had this big wine party planned, and someone had to stay behind. I'm sure that the Fatui wouldn't want to talk to Jean, who's barely in charge in their minds. Like, she just took over. She's young. I'm sure to them that wouldn't have been sufficient enough. Maybe that's why Seamus stayed behind. Jean also isn't in that initial meeting with the Fatui either, which is interesting. Neither Varka nor Jean are there. But that's all we really know about Seamus Pegg. He's very happy looking.
But he seems a little sus.
To me, he seemed like a little like nervous or twitchy or something, like a people pleaser, which that gets into like my theories about Barbara that we can discuss in a little bit. But
oh, babes. Oh, Barbara.
It just seems like a little surprising that he's like a leader of Mondstadt, I guess. I don't know.
No, you're right. It is surprising. He's very quiet, smiley, like, yes, all is good now. Goodbye.
As much as I do want to throw sus on him because he is part of a church, maybe it's because he was a bit more meek. I mean, he wasn't cut out to be an adventurer, which is probably why he found himself diving in so head over heels into the Church of Favonius. So he could just have like like a meek or people-pleasing demeanor because he, in a similar aspect, wants to help everybody and doesn't like the idea that he obviously can't help everybody.
Right.
What makes you think that he's meek as an adventurer? Because if I remember Jean's like storylines, she says that he's quite famous as an adventurer.
That is surprising to me just based on like the manga.
Yeah, maybe I missed that. I can't remember. Am I confusing him with someone else?
I mean, he's the seneschal. He's like the one with the like Pope looking hat.
Oh
and
yeah.
glasses.
I feel like I have to honestly agree with Tiff on this in that he seems really sus and it seems like he's able to kind of fake a new persona very easily.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So he might be coming off as both. Like, you know, he might be a great adventurer, but maybe he plays this role like a little bit to kind of confuse people a little bit and so they underestimate him.
He probably does that like on purpose.
Yeah.
Why would you have a person from your church, right, sit down and talk with the Fatui and
Yeah.
Diluc and Kaya? Like Kaya was there to represent the knights. Diluc was there as like a aristocracy high man in Mondstadt. But why have a church guy there, right? Like I feel like he has a lot more power than he leads on to. I think that he might actually be out there fighting alongside Varka and probably healing too. Obviously, we got healers who can fight in this game.
Well, I mean, maybe he learned how to heal to get ahead in the church. I mean, he seems pretty ambitious, and it seems like, you know, Mondstadt leans heavily into religion. So the church plays a big part in leadership of, you know, the Mondstadt nation.
Yeah, so he would be considered one of the leaders, and he's the Cardinal of Daybreak is his title in the church, which
Almost a pope.
yeah. So Cardinal, he would be the head honcho of the church, and yeah, I think like you said, the church is really such a big thing in Mondstadt that could just be kind of why he was important there. But it does just seem, I don't know. I'm very sussy, I think, about both of these parents.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, their actions speak loud.
Yeah, like it's just so strange.
You have Frederica, who is like obsessed with upholding the Gunhildr legacy to the point where she takes Jean to Windrise every year for her birthday.
Oh my god.
And it's not for fun. It's not because Jean wants to go. Like her mom forced her to go so you can learn respect. It's very like militant and creepy. And then you have Seamus, who is basically grooming Barbara to be a church leader. So it's like these parents are like raising their kids in, you know, in their own image, which is very creepy.
It's very creepy, but unfortunately, when you have like, this is kind of like a part of like a narcissistic parent thing, they want to have their child a reflection of them as much as possible because they're like, well, I'm perfect. And if they're not me, how could they be anything but perfect? It's a very fucky psychology with narcissistic parents, which I think they are.
But also, like, what if this is all a ruse and they're really just trying to gain some sort of power play here in Mondstadt? Like, we are two children, are the head of the Knights of Favonius, and are basically ready to take over the Church of Favonius.
So you think like Frederica and Seamus's leadership roles is sort of like what tore them apart?
I don't know if it tore them apart. I could see them both wanting power. I mean, I know nothing about Freddie. I don't even know who she is besides their mom. Like, what does she do? Is she a powerful person in Mondstadt?
Yeah, there's like nothing about her in the lore.
It almost feels like she wants the Gunhildr clan to be in power, right? Like, I want them to be in control of everything they possibly could be.
Pulling a Lawrence.
I think she just wants to uphold their ideals, which is to protect Mondstadt, and she takes pride in that. One thing we do know about Frederica is that she was, I think it's the Alder Knight.
Okay.
So she wanted Jean to like follow in her footsteps. So it's sort of that narcissism thing, but it's also like, oh, like I had to, you know, uphold this duty to our clan. And so now you have to follow in my footsteps as well. And with Seamus, I mean, Seamus didn't grow up being like a church leader. That just happened later. Then he basically made sure that Barbara followed in his footsteps.
That's true. I don't know. There's just a weird thing that's like in the back of my head that's like that this is like some sort of weird power play.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's a Lawrence clan. Like she's almost like the aristocracy will be ours once more, even though she's not in the Lawrence clan. But also, like, if she's a knight of some sorts, should it be presumed that she's with Seamus and Varka?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, is that why she's not around?
I don't know. And it really bothers me that they don't explain where she is now.
She just disappeared. Which, I mean, really, with the parents in this game, it wouldn't be all that odd.
Yeah.
Parents just disappear and leave their kids orphaned everywhere.
Worse than Disney. Worse than Disney dads and moms.
So let's back off of the parents for a little bit, at least. And let's talk a little bit more about Barbara and how all of this shit has affected her. Because I think Barbara is such a key example of like how childhood trauma can really affect a person.
Yeah.
And Barbara has a lot of pressure on her from herself to begin with because of her family. She wants to be like Jean.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be like this strong, powerful woman. But at the same time, she wants to be just like her father. And she wants to be the best healer that she could be. And she gets her vision helping a kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's sick and she's trying to heal him. And somebody says, like, you know, no matter what, you can give all the medicine, but it doesn't replace family, which brings her to actually like hold this child and sing. Like, she's never sung a song in her life, basically. And she sings him a lullaby. And eventually he falls asleep and she passes out and they wake up the next day and he's starting to feel better and she magically has a vision. Very weird. There's no like big pomp and circumstance for her. She was just like, oh, look at this. There's a vision in my hand. And then he gets better. So it worked. Her singing, actually, I think that's where her beginning of singing to all, like, you know, she kind of incorporated that into her healing because it made people smile and she liked seeing people happy.
Yeah. She was like, oh, I have some power.
She finally felt good enough because she was seeing people respond in a positive light for once.
Yeah, but then also the other side of it too is that she also, like you said, she kind of gets really hard on herself and she feels bad that the smiles never last longer than the song. So like she goes and like she sings for Blind Glory and for Sick Anna and all of them, and they're so happy to have her singing for them, and they're, you know, but then they're back to like, it doesn't actually fix their broken hearts and some, you know, whatever crazy sickness Sick Anna has.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, she's a healer that feels bad that she's not perfect.
A mood, honestly.
Yeah.
But, you know, that actually brings us to another pressure that she has started to have, which is the pressure that her beautiful singing voice is bringing onto her. And there's two different pressures from that. There's a pressure from Miss Alice and also from Albert.
I mean, there's even a third, which is her audience.
And her audience. Albert kind of, yeah, he's like bold.
He's worse.
He is worse. So Albert is a stalker. For those of our travelers who might not know,
he is the number one fan of her fan club, which right there.
I love that she has a fan club that's so old-fashioned. But also Alice is like in this weird, like creepy way, sort of like brought Barbara into this like Teyvat's next top singer contest thing. Like, it was so weird. I mean, it's like Teyvat's Idol. And she was like, I'm gonna make you a star.
Where it's like, you know what, Alice, go take care of your kids.
Yeah, go take care of Klee.
Right. Like, why was Alice so into this?
I just like the fact that Alice gave her a magazine and was just like, read this. You'll learn to be, you know, this starlet that you're destined to be.
Like, I always think of Alice as very calculating, but I'm starting to think she's just very like loopy and just like, oh, this would be fun. Look at this magazine. Like, she's just kind of doing whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Alice is very much a mom. She just keeps trying to take people in. And she keeps trying to take people in who are like missing parents. So like, she's like, Barbara, you don't know the love and joy of a true mom? Let me show you. You're a beautiful singer. Let's make you a star. D. Luke, your dad died and you took care of Klee. Let me be your new mom. Anything you need, I'm here for you. Albedo, my bestie Gold left you with me. You're mine now. Like, she just keeps adopting all these children.
And then leaving them.
Yeah.
She's having them, she's popping them out, writing her name on those adoption papers, and then abandoning them the second she can. I would not say she's a great mom. Poor Klee.
Maybe she's just actually trying to form like her own family band.
Oh, God.
That's why she just keeps taking them all. Yeah.
So, Feeny, you think that Alice, like her whole thing of like, you should be a pop star is just her trying to show Bab some love?
Yeah, I just think it's love. I don't really think it's anything. I do feel that this is, again, I have a lot of headcanons in this game, and I apologize for that. And it's all because I'm writing a story, and like when you write the story, you want to have like all the characters headcanoned out, right? You can't have these gaps. So I have a lot of headcanons, a lot of thoughts.
I mean, you're right. Like she does say all of that to all these characters. Like she does try to take on that role. So you might be right.
I feel like Alice is like originally from Mondstadt. I feel like she's been hurt somehow. I don't know how. It feels like Alice may have been around during the Cataclysm. We don't really know. And I think sometimes people like that who have been hurt just want to show love to other people. And I definitely see that with Alice in the fact that she runs around Teyvat making an adventurer's handbook that we use even, and writing books. And all of her books that she writes are really her trying to help people. But she also does these crazy, weird experiments. And like Albedo's talking about how he has to pay off for all the damage she has done. And it's like, what is Alice out there doing? But at the same time, she pops back in to be like, oh, Klee, my beloved, I'm here. And she actually hangs out with Klee. She's not completely absent. And then she's also helping all these other people. I mean, D-Luke's dad died. He ran away from home. And Alice still was like, D-Luke, you were so kind to my kid. I am here if you need anything. It's just weird.
Yeah, she's like weirdly dedicated, yet also flippant.
And she's only really dedicated to the people of Mondstadt.
Yeah, that's true.
And from what I know, it seems like she's really loves the people of Mond, which is why I feel like she must be from there. Because she travels all of Teyvat. She made our map.
Which must be how she also brought back the type of music, because like they make a mention that nobody heard the type of music in Mondstadt that she was having Barbara sing until that point, because they were so used to bards, and you know that was just the only music they ever had. So I kind of had wondered, like, well, why was Alice like? How did Alice even know about this? But it makes sense. She was all over the place.
Oh no, Alice invented pop.
Or she went to Fontaine and was like, hey.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what do you guys think the music is from then? Do you think it's Fontaine? It's definitely not any of the nations we've seen.
Maybe it's from another world.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Maybe it's Conrian.
Well, no, we have music in Leeway, because we have Jinyan and Yanfei with, you know, she wanted to be a rapper. They've experienced other types of music there, and we also meet Yunjin, who's the opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of different kind of music and stuff there. So it could possibly be that this type of music has filtered throughout the other nations and have kind of been there. But Mondstadt was just, it has been stuck so much into this church state, basically.
Wait, so, okay, if Babs was competing on Teyvat Idol, who would be her competitors? We have Jinyan, Yanfei the rapper,
Ito coming in with some back streets back. All right.
Yeah, doesn't he start like a little band, like he's making a music festival in one of the...
he's got a drum solo, just full metal at this point.
This is an old school reference. I think I've said it to all of you, but anybody who doesn't know, Emmett Otter and the Jug Band, it's a Christmas Muppet Jim Henson thing, and there is it's fantastic. It's
where
the
is
80s.
This going?
There's like the mean band that kind of fights the Jug Band one, and they're called the River Bottom Nightmare Band. And every time I see Ito try and sing or try and like
The
rock out, I just hear
Nightmare? That
the
sounds
River Bottom
accurate.
Nightmare Band.
He is a bottom.
Cookie's bottom.
I'm going to link to the River Bottom Nightmare Band on the site. If you don't know Emmett Otter, it's going to be the season to watch Emmett Otter, and it's a Christmas story. So,
God, I miss Jugs.
I will say too, you asked like who the other singers were, and I just want you guys to know that originally Albedo was supposed to sing to himself as one of his like idol animations, and he doesn't. But Koi sings a lot. Koi is the English voice actor of Albedo, for our travelers who don't know.
Fun fact, he's dating the voice of Babala.
Yes, Koi Dao is dating Laura Stahl, who voices Barbara and Jinyan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. Fun fact for Barbara episode. Laura Stahl, thank you so much for bringing two characters to life.
Two of the characters in Teyvat Idol.
Exactly.
Yes, and for possibly dating a third.
Wait, so we have Babs,
Jinyan,
Jinyan,
Yunjin.
Yanfei, Yunjin, Ito.
He'd be the
Venti.
first to go home. I'm sorry. I love him. He'd be the first one to go home. No, he'd be in the auditions and
Venti would be in there.
Venti
Oh,
for
yep.
sure.
Wait, what's his name? The five-fingered.
Five Finger Jose.
Yeah, five-fingered Jose. Yeah.
My
Not Five Finger
favorite.
Jose.
Is it Five Finger Jose or Six Finger Jose?
Oh no, six-fingered. Yeah, six-fingered. Sorry, you're right.
I was like,
Six-fingered
five
Jose.
sounds normal. Am I Five Finger Amanda? Like,
Six-fingered Jose. You're right. Yeah.
I feel like there's another character that like canonically sings, but you don't know it. Also, I'm gonna say Griffin Burns, who voices Child, also sings a lot, and he covers a lot of songs
Who
as
cares
Child.
about the voice actors? We're talking about the character.
What that means that the character could possibly sing.
Oh, come, like, we
That's
can't
true.
not say, yeah.
Oh yeah, he sings
Something
the rah
Shania
rah
Queen.
Rasputin. Yeah, lover
Yeah,
of
that
the
shit.
Shania Queen. Yeah, he also sings that really hot song by Sam Smith. Just saying, I'll send it later.
The Ghost of Rue.
No,
Oh.
stop. Why would
Instantly
you do
bring
that
the
to
room
us?
down.
Yeah. Nice going, Brandon. Talk about a dead kid.
Oh, I love it.
I feel like Nahida would be singing, but she'd be like, la, 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 la.
Nahida's been locked in a box.
Ayaka could dance in her socks.
No,
In the
Ayaka
river.
gets kicked off first.
Oh no.
She can be on Teyvat's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is Idols.
True.
But let's back it up a little bit. So we've talked a little bit about a lot of Barbara's familial issues, the pressures that surround her, whether it be from her fan club, Albert who stalks her, Alice, or herself. But what are you guys thinking like for the future of Barbara? I know the only other fun fact I really know about Barbara is that she really likes spicy foods and she really wants to help people. We see that in her hangout. But I don't know. Barbara could possibly play a very large role moving forward, and there's a part of me that's like she's gonna die, but also that's just me. I like the dramatics. Well,
Why-
wouldn't it be so dramatic? I mean, you know, I have a theory that the whole fight is going to come back to Mondstadt. I think that the gates of Celestia are somewhere in that area, the greater Mondstadt area, and that something's going to happen in Mondstadt. I think there's going to be a huge fight, and wouldn't that be something for Seamus, Pegg's daughter, and Jean's younger sister to both die? I mean, to have that, to have Barbara die.
In this war, does Timmy die?
No, Timmy
Oh.
wins.
You wish.
Timmy is, the second he came.
Barbara actually dies protecting Timmy.
Oh God.
No.
Well, she deserved it.
So much Timmy hate.
Wait, I have a really hot take on Babs. I think that like everyone is like, oh, she's so sweet, she's so like supportive and cheerful. I'm like, I think she's actually a very dark character, and I actually think that she's very Freudian.
Okay.
She has all of these classic defense mechanisms that were described by Freud. And I know Freud is full of shit and a lot of stuff, but the defense mechanisms are pretty widely accepted. And in her character stories, there's a lot of examples of several of them. In character story number 4, it says her desire to be recognized gradually transformed into a simple desire to help others. That is sublimation 101. Character story number 4 also says,
Wait, what is sublimation for those who may not know?
sublimation means that you take something and you sort of turn that into something else. So her desire to be recognized, she took that and she turned it into a desire to help others. But her desire to help others is really just her way of dealing with her desire to be recognized, which is not being met.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So character story number 4 also says that she allows herself to be depressed for only 30 seconds. After that, she forces herself to brighten up no matter what. Classic denial.
Hear that, everybody? Your mom was right. You can cure depression by just being happy.
Exactly.
Don't actually take that advice. It's not correct.
Character story number 5 says, to Barbara, the greatest reward is seeing the smiles on people's faces. And, quote, it's the encouragement I receive from others that keeps me going. And her ambition to surpass her sister and become the most popular person in all of Mondstadt hasn't been abandoned by Barbara. It is simply buried deep inside her heart. Classic repression.
The need to beat my sister.
Yeah, that's some good old-fashioned sibling rivalry right there.
Yeah. And she's sort of like, using these defense mechanisms to be like, you know what, I'm just going to heal and be happy and like be useful in that way. But what she really wants is to be better than her sister.
Well, and we can go even deeper. Why would she want to be better than her sister? Because she wants the attention and the acknowledgement of her mother.
Ooh.
I mean, the whole going through that of just like, she has so much attention on her. She's acknowledged by the masses of Mondstadt, by the Church of Favonius, her father, even her big sister. But who does she not have acknowledging her? Her mother.
Who championed Jean from the start and was like, you're going to be the next knight.
Does she get the recognition from Jean? Because I feel like even in Jean's voice line about Barbara, it's like, oh, she's a really hard worker. It's like, oh, how do I know her? Because the Knights of Favonius also take care of the church.
I think that is more because she doesn't feel as comfortable calling Barbara her sister because they've spent so much time not as a family.
Well, there's actually something in Jean's character story that indicates that Jean actually wants to be closer to Barbara, but I think it's like a case of they're both too awkward.
Yeah.
So like in Jean's character story number 5, it says that Jean has always wanted to get closer to her younger sister by blood, but cannot bring herself to say anything when faced with Barbara's evasive eyes. Perhaps this all too similar awkwardness is a sign that the sentiment is shared. So I think they both want to be closer than they are, but they don't know how to say it.
That's sad.
Which is really sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad. But I can understand it because who the fuck taught them how to go about this? And who put them in this fucking position?
I know. Also, did you know that Jean, well, Al, you probably knew this, but Jean is like secretly really into romance novels.
Yeah.
And is,
Oh
like,
my
a
God.
dreamer.
Yes, she is. She's like, oh my God.
It makes me think that like Babs should have been the knight and Jean should have been the deaconess.
I think Jean would have wanted that. I mean, Jean loves being the acting. Well, loves is kind of maybe too strong of a word. She likes her job and she is very strong and she's good at being a fighter, but I don't think she wants all this responsibility. I think she does it because she feels like she has to. That if she doesn't, she's going to let her mother down, the entirety of Mondstadt down. She has to do this because this is what she's been told all her life to do. And I think there's a possibility of like, she would have much rather been able to not have that pressure put on her. Jean probably would have wanted to have the freedom to decide if she wanted to join either the Church of Favonius or the Knights of Favonius.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have enjoyed that, as well as being able to be with both her sister and her father and mother. Because, like, it doesn't necessarily mean, like, the Shamish and Frederica had to stay married. No, they could have just, had shared custody like a normal fucking family.
Just co-parented. And the same for Babs. Maybe she wanted to be a knight.
Exactly.
She seems more ambitious than Jean.
She is. And in one of her voice lines in her profile, she talks about how she would practice every day fighting with a sword, but she could never be as good as Jean. I mean, you can just feel that, like, ooh, we all know, like, I can never be as good as blah, blah, blah in blah, blah, blah. But to know that it's your sibling and a parent chose that sibling over you, Babala is very dark. It's not that she has a dark demeanor, it's just what she's gone through is fucked up in a way that most people don't realize.
Yeah, I think they're like Jean and Babs, they're both very positive characters in the game on the surface, but I think they both have sort of a tragic story.
Right. I want both their parents to die and they just get to be together forever.
Aw.
Because fuck their parents.
I think it'd be really great if they like had some kind of story where they get over the awkwardness and become really close.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I would cry.
I did want to bring up one more thing for me that I felt was very important when thinking about Barbara. A lot of people talk about that Jean and Diluc were close as kids, and that's really where the big Diluc-Jean ship comes from, right? But the question is, were Kaya and Barbara also involved in that at all? You know, we don't know what age that Jean and Barbara were like ripped apart either. So do you guys think that Barbara grew up with Kaya and Diluc just like Jean did for a little bit, or
Maybe for a little bit, because there's reference that when they split up, Barbara was very young and Jean was, I think, just starting to train and you know, kind of follow in her mother's footsteps. So it's possible, but if so, they don't really remember.
I would feel like, honestly, that no, she wouldn't have, because both these parents being so steadfast in the direction that their daughter was going to go in, I feel like the mother would have, before this split, would have always been around all the knights. And then, therefore, just by association, definitely with Diluc and Kaya, where like Seamus was probably bringing Barbara to the church with him while he was working. So I feel like they probably didn't spend, and that could also lead to their awkwardness, is that even when they were together, they weren't actually together.
So I was gonna say too, with Seamus, we've seen that he's very close to the knights. With Master Varka in the manga being the one church member to sit in with Diluc and Kaya, like he does seem very close to them as well.
Wait, was Diluc and Kaya's dad in the Knights?
Diluc and Kaya's dad was not in the Knights of Favonius, no. That and having the vision are the two things that like Krampus really wanted for Diluc, and because he was something he couldn't get. And that's why Diluc was such a prized son. I just mean more so that Seamus obviously is close with Diluc and Kaya if he's going to host a meeting with the Fatui at Diluc's party. Like they must have some sort of relation where Seamus is chill with that. Like they all were pretty chill with it.
Or was Seamus just, you know, kissing up because Diluc's rich?
That's also a possibility. Making sure he's donating to the church every week.
Yeah.
He's all about that Mora.
One interesting little fact that is not really lore specific, I guess. Well, I guess it is. If you have Barbara as a playable character, if you do her skill or burst in front of NPCs, they'll actually stop and clap for you, which is adorable.
Yeah.
But I guess it goes to like that she is this like, you know, pop queen.
It makes me laugh so much because you can go around like terrorizing Mondstadt, like just like throwing water balls at everyone, and then they'll stop and clap like, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me.
Your singing is beautiful, it's beautiful, please, just please.
I love it, please stop.
Jeez.
I mean, she does cover them in rainbows and songs, so it's, you know.
It's a pretty nice beat down. It's like, it's, you know, as you're getting whacked with water, and you're like, I am so happy. Hit me again.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Brittany Pegg.
Oh my god.
The Brittany comes out.
Another interesting thing too related to Barbara's abilities is that if you see Barbara, she can revive someone.
She raises the dead.
I personally feel like that could be a foreshadowing of sorts. Or maybe it's like a hope of Barbara's.
To raise she's a full necromancer now, y'all.
Well, you know.
Let me tell you, it was super helpful when I fought the Scaramouche boss in Sumeru, and he one-shotted my Kazuha with full health.
What? Your C6 Kazuha was one-shotted?
Yep.
We gotta get better. What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm very afraid to fight this boss. I'm not even there yet. I am shitting bricks.
The Transformer. You know, I love this idea that Barbara is really a dark heart and that something is going to happen to her in the end. Because, come on, we have a sunshine rainbow character who literally shoots rainbows out of her fucking hand with this big traumatizing black hole of a past. And you're telling me she's just going to go on and sing for us? No. Like, I really believe something has to happen. And I think that her C6 is supposed to be some sort of sign. Someone's going to die and Barbara's going to want to raise them from the dead. She's going to want to be able to revive them.
You want someone to die.
I do want
Yeah.
someone to die.
You want somebody to die that's not Lisa also.
I know, I do love Lisa. But another thing with Barbara is that she wants to be the best healer. And what a better healer than to bring people back to life?
That's
It must
true.
really-
It's like her actualizing.
It must really piss her off that Chi-Chi can raise the entire party by half.
Yeah.
It must really piss her off that she's a 4-star and her sister's a 5-star.
Get fucked.
Uh-huh.
And that her sister can also heal.
Oh my god.
The game is even trolling Barbara.
Aw.
But Jean would be like the first person if someone was like, oh, Jean, your healing is so good. She'd be like, not as good as Barbara. Like, you should really check out Sister Barbara. Like, she'd be so like, don't
would.
bring the
She
attention
would.
to me.
Oh my god.
And Babs would be like, don't pity me, bitch.
And then everyone looks at Babs like, what?
It's like if I could get Babs to do 20k in healing at a time, I would play her more, but I don't. I can't get her that high.
I feel like my Babs is getting there.
I love me some Babs.
I just need better artifacts.
I did want to say one more thing about Barbara, too, from my end. I am waiting on the day that she finds out Venti is Barbados.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's gonna lose her shit.
She's like, that bad singing bard? Like, that, like, are you kidding? That's the god? She's gonna lose her shit.
Yeah. The one who broke the holy lyre.
You mean his liar?
Yeah, she'll probably be like, oh, well, I guess it was his own thing, so whatever.
Wait till she finds out that he's masking it right now. It's not fixed, right? Did
Yeah.
we just mask it?
That's true.
So we returned a broken, like, bandaged up liar to her, and she's like, oh, this stupid bard. And then, like, one day he's gonna erupt as like Barbados in the middle of Mondstadt to save them, and she's gonna be like, are you?
Yeah.
But don't you feel like she would only care because she knows her dad would be so mad at her?
Yeah.
For being rude to him?
Yeah.
No, for letting
No,
it
I think-
happen.
I think she's just such a devout, like, I really do think she's very devout in the church. Like, she believes it all. Like, she's 100%, not only is it her job to take care of these artifacts, but she has like a passion for it too.
I feel like she convinced herself of that. I don't feel like it's her true self,
Mm-hmm.
personally.
That everything's just a facade with her, like it's all a mask.
Well, no, I think I think she has convinced herself of it, so she believes it, but I don't think that that's in her nature. Like, that's not like what she was meant to do.
Okay.
You know, it's very funny. When I first started playing the game, I had beef with Babs. I'm not
You
really
did.
sure why. I did. I had total beef with her.
You hated her.
Yeah, she got on my nerves with her singing and her, I want to be as tall as my big sister. Annoyed me. And then I did her hangout and I was like, okay, I love Bab. I love her. And she's in my team all the time. Like, I would totally recommend like doing
And your Babs is kick ass.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
is. She is. Thanks for recognizing that.
Thanks for recognizing that.
But if you haven't done a hangout with Barbara, I would very much suggest it, just because you get a little bit more into Albert and his stalkingness of her and her love of spice and just how adored she is by the people of Mondstadt for her singing and
and
stuff.
you learn
So it's
about her fan
it's
club.
it's
Oh,
a cute
yeah.
story.
It is really cute. It's a great insight into her, and you get some
Yeah.
cute photos for your teapot.
Mhm. And you know what's actually really cute too? In that hangout, you find out that there are nuns who are outside of the church every morning, just waiting to possibly get a glimpse. Like, it's not just the people of Mondstadt; it's actually like even the nuns themselves.
She's the Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
It's Brittany. No. It's Babla, bitch.
It's Barbara, bitch.
You know who else is a strong ass character on my team is Rosaria, and she is also related in a way with, she's also a part of the church. And I think it's really interesting that Barbara will Barbara basically tells her to do stuff and she's just like, yeah, whatever. And that's it. But Rosaria is like always kind of keeping an eye on her. And I mean, I think she's while I love her, I think she's also sus in a way. Like, I think she's a spy, honestly.
Especially as a nun, the sussiest nun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, to me, she's a spy and she's just pretending to be something. And I think her character is going to come out with that at some point. But
Doesn't Rosaria not even say Barbados?
Yeah, I don't think
Isn't she like Barbados?
yeah, I think
She
so. I
could
think
care the fuck
Yeah,
less.
she's just like, I'm supposed to be doing this, but whatever.
She's like that fool.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting the relationship they have because Barbara will be like, yeah, like I invited Rosaria to sing with us and she didn't come. Isn't that like something that happens in in a voice line or an event?
Probably.
Like, it is really interesting, their relationship. And a lot of the nuns in general know that Barbara overworks herself.
Who doesn't overwork themselves in this game?
I mean, yeah, specifically in Mondstadt, they all are like some overachievers or alcoholics
Yeah, or both.
or both. I mean, let's be honest. If we're just talking about Mondstadt, and this could go for most of the game, but like, I don't think you could pick a single playable character in Mondstadt that isn't full of trauma, that has lived a happy life, who doesn't deserve to drink a little bit or, work to hide the pain. They all got some bad issues.
I mean, the only person I could think of that kind of had a happy childhood was Bennett because he had a million dads.
That's true.
He's a sweet boy who just has shit luck. But well,
But he also has dead biological parents.
yeah, we don't know where the fuck they are.
They died.
They dead?
They died.
They died. Ah,
we know where they are.
finna fucking dead, man. Finna fucking dead.
I googled Barbara and Rosaria just to see if I could find something about their voice lines real quick, and it was all like smut.
I don't know if this matters, but I do want to say that when Seamus left town to go meet up with Varka, he put in charge this character named Cardinal Calvin. And he seems a little sus to me because in Babs's hangout, she says that he has been taking care of various matters since the departure of her father and Grandmaster Varka, but that he's so busy that he seldom ever leaves his room. Even the other sisters in the church rarely ever see him. The only time I've seen him recently was when the Holy Lyre was stolen. He went to the Knights of Favonius in such a hurry that he hadn't even fastened all the buttons on his garments. Who is Cardinal Calvin, and why is he just hanging out naked in his room?
Waiting for broken artifacts.
It's also curious too that why wasn't Barbara left in charge? Like, who is this cardinal? Like, we've never met him. I've never seen a man in that church, besides Victor.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that that's sort of why Barbara seems to be sort of in charge. She's sort of running things, right?
Because this guy's useless.
Yeah. He's absent, just like her dad. And her mom.
Absent, just like her dad. Who's the dude in the back of the church? Who's outside of the back? Is he just a maintenance guy?
That's a bard that I sometimes mix up with Six Finger Jose. His family is dead.
Oh, that's right. They're buried back there, right?
Yeah, they're buried back there, and he's paying his respects, and he
And
blames
he's going to
himself.
win Teyvat Idol, right?
Wait, what?
Six Finger Jose is definitely going to win.
No.
You can't leave that tavern without hitting him at least once.
Oh, Six Finger Jose. Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've been I'm leaving, and he's like, you want to hear me play my song? And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear you play your song. Leave me alone.
Just want to go out the door.
Well, I do think that that's all the time we have for today. I think we covered a lot, not just about Barbara, but about Mondstadt as a whole as well. And I think we have a really good idea of what is going on in the church now, too, which is interesting. And by having an idea, I mean we're totally lost still. But we have some details.
Which is better than nothing.
Travelers, please feel free to give us a follow on Instagram, Tales of Teyvat Pod, or on Twitter, Tales of Teyvat, to keep up to date with the podcast, and also let us know what you thought of today's episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Barbara, Dark Barbara, Barbara dying, Barbara resurrecting, your Barbara build, whatever you want to tell us about Babs. We'd love to hear it. If you have any suggestions for the podcast as well, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you next week when we talk about the Vision Hunt decree and take a jump into Inazuma through Beto's boat. Otherwise, safe journeys, travelers. We'll see you next time.
Bye, nerds.